Hello everyone. In this video lecture, let us understand the gate level description of a 4-bit triple carry adder. First, let us understand the working of a 4-bit triple carry full adder. So we know that a 4-bit triple carry adder is built using 4 1-bit full adders. The triple carry adder can add 4 bits of A with 4 bits of B and produce a 4-bit sum and 1-bit carry. So to illustrate the basic ripple carry operation, we have 4 bit of A, 4 bits of B being added. So every stage can generate a carry which is rippled or carry forwarded. So finally we can get a 4-bit sum S3 to S0 and a final carry output Cout, which is 1 bit. So the block diagram illustration of the same is shown here. So we need 4 full adders, 4 1-bit adders. So we have first adder here A0, B0 with some S0. The first full adder will have no carry input. So this carry in C will be made 0. And then the carry out of the first full adder goes as the carry input to the next full adder. That is, the ripple effect is seen here. The second full adder adds input A1 and B1, produces some S1 and also produces a carry out which we have named as C1. This C1 acts as the input to the next full adder which has inputs A2 and B2, produces some S2 which also produces a carry out C2. This C2 goes as the input to the last full adder having inputs A3, B3 and produces a sum S3 and gives us the final C3. So this C3 also represents the final Cout of the ripple carry adder. So we know that the 1-bit full adder design has to be done. We have to just instantiate that 1-bit triple carry adder 4 times. So in the previous block diagram we saw we had 4 similar full adders. We have to now design just one block of that full adder and just instantiate that block 4 times by changing the inputs applied to that particular instance. So to design a 1-bit full adder, we know 1-bit full adder has 3 inputs A, B, C in and 2 outputs sum and Cout, which are all 1-bit wide. So this is the truth table of a full adder having 0, 0, 0 inputs. We have sum and carry as 0, 0. So 1, 0, 0 we have 1, 0. 1, 1, 1 we have sum 1, carry 1. So this table is known to us. From the truth table, by using K-map technique or simplification techniques, we have obtained these two expressions, A XOR B XOR Cin as the sum expression and AB plus Cin into A XOR B as the carry out expression for this particular full adder. So the circuit for this particular expression over here is shown here. We have A XOR B XOR Cin. So A, B is given to one gate, XOR gate. So we get A XOR B here. This A XOR B is again XORed with the third input Cin. We need AB. So we have an AND gate here, AB. That AB should be ORed with Cin into A XOR B. So A XOR B is available here. Multiply it with Cin. So we have Cin into A XOR B. And this, according to the diagram here, the expression here should go to an OR gate, but we have used an XOR gate because even the XOR gate gives us the same output. The advantage of using the XOR gate is it reduces the use of another new IC OR gate. So we already have 2 XOR gates used in the IC. The third XOR gate can also be used. This OR replaced by XOR gives us the same output when we check for all the input cases. So this is the gate level diagram of a 1-bit triple carry adder. So we have to write the gate level description for this 1-bit full adder and then instantiate in the ripple carry adder. Now let us write the Verilog code of this 1-bit full adder in the gate level modeling. So to write a gate level description, we need the gate circuit or the gate level diagram as our reference. So let's declare the module. We know module is declared as module followed by the module name and the list of ports. So the list of ports are A, B, Cin, sum and Cout. So module name I have chosen here is full underscore add1, indicating 1-bit full adder. The name can be anything. And we have listed out the output and input variables and ending with a semicolon. Next, from this list we have to declare the input variables and the output variables, that is the input and the output ports must be declared. So the input ports are A, B, Cin, we know that, and the output ports are sum and Cout. Next, if we carefully observe this gate level diagram, internally we have some structural connections between the gates. Structural connection between the gates or the hardware elements are the nets, and nets are declared using the keyword wire. So we have three wires here. One is C1, C2 and S1. We have done the declaration. Now that we have done all the declarations, it's time now to instantiate the 5 gates in this diagram and pass the variables in the order of output, input. So let's instantiate the first XOR gate here. So it's XOR. Let's give an instance name or a label x1. The output variable here is s1. The input variables are a and b. So it is s1, a, b. Similarly, let's instantiate this AND gate. Call it as a1. The output here is c1. Inputs are a and b. Let's instantiate the second XOR gate here. Its output is sum. Inputs are s1 and cin. So that has been done. Next, let us instantiate this AND gate whose output is C2. Inputs are S1 and Cin. And then let's instantiate the last XOR gate whose output is Cout and inputs are C2 and C1. So once we have done this gate level description where we have translated each gate into instantiation, it's time to end the code with the keyword end module. So this is the gate level description of just a 1-bit adder, but we are intended to write the code for a 4-bit ripple carry full adder. For a 4-bit ripple carry adder we just saw in the previous block. So this is how we have now just taken this full adder, single full adder, and we have written the gate level description. Now 4 such full adders must be instantiated to form a 4-bit ripple carry adder. So according to this block, now let us write the code of a ripple carry adder. So module ripple adder 4 is the name of the module. When we look into this, we have 4 sum outputs, sum 0, sum 1, sum of 2, sum of 3. So we will use vector declaration and make the programming look simple. So I have just written a sum. We have a Cout, we have Cin, and we have inputs A and B. Actually A is 4-bit, B is 4-bit, which we will be declaring as vectors in the main program. So now let us declare the input variables. So to declare the input variables, we have A and B, which are 4-bit vectors. So instead of declaring A0, A1, A2, A3, B0, B1, B2, B3, I am just declaring it as A and B. We know vectors are represented by a square bracket which is put before the name of the variable, and a 4-bit vector is represented by the bit numbers 3 down to 0. So 3:0 indicates A and B are 4-bit vectors. Similarly, Cin is also input, but it is just 1 bit. So we are doing that on a separate line, input Cin. Similarly, let's declare the output. So we know sum is a 4-bit vector. So output sum vector is a square bracket before the variable name sum, and 3 down to 0 indicates it's a 4-bit sum variable. And we also have a single bit sum Cout output, which is declared on a separate line, output Cout. Now, if you observe the diagram again, we have internally some connections C1, C2, C3, which are representing the connections between these hardware elements. So it is important we have a wire declaration. So wire C1, C2 and C3. Once we are done with all the declaration, input, output, nets, declaration, it's time to instantiate the full adders. Let's instantiate the first full adder. The first full adder here, we have to use the same name we used in this previous program. So previous module we had written full_add1, full_add1, and this is very important that we give a label. I have just given the label as the name given in this block, FA0, and we have to pass this list as we have declared in that previous. So previously we had declared sum Cout ABC, so we have to pass it in the same order. So for this full adder, observe carefully, what is the output name? It is sum of 0. So we have to list that first. What is the Cout for this? It is C1. So we have to list that and then list A, B, C in. So what is A? In place of A we have A of 0. In place of B we have B of 0, and C in remains as it is as C in. So this is the first instantiation. Similarly, let's call the same full adder gate level modeling second time. So same name has to be used, but the label will change. I am using FA1 here. So for the second full adder, what are the output variables? We have sum of 1 in the diagram. So we've written sum of 1. The carry output is named here as C2. So we have listed it as C2. The inputs are A of 1, B of 1 and C1. So A of 1, B of 1 and C1 are listed. Similarly, the third full adder is instantiated, named as FA2. Its output is sum of 2 and C3, and the inputs are A of 2, B of 2 and C2, which is listed in the same order. And finally, we call or instantiate the fourth full adder, having the sum output sum of 3, the main output Cout, A3, B3 and C3 as the inputs. So we have instantiated four full adders whose gate level description was written earlier, and then finally after the instantiation we can end the program using the keyword end module. Now we write the stimulus code, the test bench for this 4-bit ripple carry adder. So our design is a 4-bit ripple carry adder. We have designed it using one bit full adders by instantiating it 4 times. So stimulus must be written for the 4-bit ripple carry adder, which is the main design block. So as we know, stimulus will not have a port list module. The name given to this module is stimulus. All the input variables should be declared as register. All the output variables must be declared as wire. So we had input, output in the previous program. So we have done the declarations. And once the declarations are done, we have to instantiate or call the design block. So the design block was ripple adder 4. So we have called that, given a label, and we have to pass the variables in the same order in which we have defined this module. In the previous module, I had listed sum, Cout, A, B, C, so it has to be passed in the same order because this is pass by order. And then we have to initialize or give values to these variables. So using the keyword initial and then begin, because we have a block of statements, let's start initializing. But unlike the previous code where we used a $display to display the values every time, in this case we will use a $monitor. So $monitor will monitor the signals listed in that particular $monitor statement, and even if one of the value changes, it displays that value automatically. So we need not write $monitor every time. So we want to monitor A, B, C in sum and Cout, and we have just listed them, and $time indicates the current simulation time, so the time is also being displayed. So here we are giving the values randomly. We have just given some values for A, B and C in. So 4-bit values are given. We are not checking it for all the cases, some 5 to 6 cases. We can mention the values either in this format, 4-tick binary, or we can mention it in the decimal format. So we can observe from this value to this value, we are giving a delay so that the program works correctly, appropriately. And after 5 time units, we have changed the A and B input. So if we have not given a C in input, it retains the previous input 0 as it is. And then we have given after 5 time units 9 and 12. After 5 time units again we have given 7 and 13 to A and B, and we are giving C in again as 1. So these values which are given are randomly given to check the output values for the given adder. So every begin will have a corresponding end, and the module will be concluded using the end module statement. So in this lecture we understood the gate level description of a 4-bit ripple carry adder using the top-down design methodology. Thank you.